Today, we're going to start a series where civilization starts over. This is a series I've seen people do a lot, like a lot. But and I've wanted to start my own as well. I've started a few. I've taken like strange screenshots and like stuff like that. But I've never started like a YouTube series about it, and I really wish to do that for a while now. And here we are. This is gonna be my first video on the channel. I had some other ideas, but they never really worked out for me. So, here we go. We're gonna start this out. All right, we're going to be starting in India, subcontinent type of thing, but mostly in Asia. So let's start. A little group of people will start to explore around the area. They've explored around a lot of India, like here, but they haven't really mapped it out. This is like the first type of mapped out thing where they've ever done before. And so they're going to start right around here. They're going to start as a little tribe area. No capital, no sensible government yet. They haven't even really understood fully of like a civilization as yet. But they are there, they're noticeable, and then people are starting to flock towards this civilization. And eventually, after, I don't know, a decade or two, months, weeks, I don't really know, they will start to expand again. They'll explore around the coasts of India, also exploring internally, but mostly around the coast, as that's the most sensible source right now. They'll expand around this coast because of the more grassy terrain the area has. They will expand around this area a bit, but just not a whole lot. After a minute of like chillness, they'll expand more into the middle areas of India, expanding like maybe a bit right here. We'll keep expanding around this coast area. We'll explore more around this coast, and eventually, they'll make it pretty far up it. They'll eventually go around the middle, expanding around this coast as well, but expanding more generally right here. And then eventually, they'll have a very pretty big empire of their own. Still no technically big government yet, but they will get it eventually. Right now, they're trying to work on that, try to get a centralized place of like laws, so like people can't just go. Let me say like, so one guy can't just go. Like a murder, stab. And because that's happening quite a lot actually. Disagreements are happening around this area, mainly in the main area though. And eventually, I say eventually quite a lot, don't I? They'll have their own little place to call a capital city. They'll set it around where they began because that seems like the most best area. But eventually, they will have a government. They don't have a name for themselves quite yet. They're trying to think of a name that represents all of their people. They're actually a republic, a democracy. Very first democracy, because there's like literally. Well, let me check real quick. I don't know, maybe like no other civilization around here. There's obviously like tribes around these areas and stuff like right here, but this is the most established and civilized area, like a natural civilization should be. And so they'll keep expanding their knowledge upon this coast. They'll have a pretty easy time as it's pretty grassy around here. They're trying to explore these areas, but it's more like savanna areas which have like tigers and stuff, which is nice. But they try their best, and eventually they make it around this coast, exploring that. but unable to like expand it in the area since how dangerous it kind of is there. So after a minute, they just pause because they have no weapons or efficient skills to defeat these uh creatures here, lions, tigers like that. And they don't really want to expand up here anymore. It's kind of getting boring. And also as they explore more up here, it's starting to get more savanna as well. This is like a rainforest grasslands. So it's not the worst time to go around here or like right up here, but it's starting to get there. They'll eventually start to explore more around here, reaching up into the more savanna areas. They eventually do get bronze like weapons. They're not the best weapons right now since it's new technology for them, but it works. And eventually they have a small area around this coast. It's more easy to go up this coast than this coast because they're more established on this coast. They're not really established on this coast because like they're busy trying to establish this coast instead of this coast. You get what I mean? Coast, coast, coast. Dang, I say coast a lot as well. Anyways, they will also try to establish in the middle areas, but it's just not as easy as the ocean because there's no like easy get water here. It's easier to get water here and also like fish. I mean, they have farming. Farming is easy to do, but like it's just kind of easy to fish since they have boats that can reach around this much area. They could probably reach here probably by now. Um, they explore Bhutan here, so and eventually set up a colony over here. It's not it's actually quite established. They after exploring it, they noticed it's quite nice. Quite nice. Very nice. But they don't set all their resources over here because they still want to set up their main Indian areas up here. Eventually, they will explore around these areas and expand a bit more, but once again, it's hard as heck to do it. Eventually, though, they will be able to explore around this much area, and they'll keep doing that for a while. And they pretty much have a very good empire at this point. Eventually, they'll make it around this coast again, making it more set up. More explorers will head up here, following the coast, and they'll meet this little peninsula. Um, hold on. I believe now that is called Jucheronti something. Please don't get mad at me, Indians, if I say that whatever this is incorrectly. Please. Anyways, they'll keep exploring around this peninsula, and eventually they'll have a colony set up over here as well. And eventually they'll have it set up pretty well. And they'll try to reach up for it as well to make sure it's not feeling too lonely out in this world of no other civilizations. And eventually, they, after a couple of decades, I believe, I don't really know, once again, they have their own like little empire set up. Little empire. I like the words little empire. And now they will finally set up their own name. Yippee! Give, give me a second. Let me give it to them. Let me put it over their little heads. The Pahalan Empire. I used a translator, by the way. May not be correct for what it means, but it means the first. And so they'll have their own name, and people cherish it a lot. People love it. And eventually, this will give so much morale that they'll explore a lot of the main areas of India. Yay! This will cause not them to expand into it, but a new nation to appear. They'll set up around this area, the middle of India, I believe. Would it be around here? I mean, it's part of the middle of India. I mean, it's a part of the middle of India, but I think it's the middle of India, in my opinion. By my opinion, doesn't matter that much, does it? If I'm not Indian. So, they have their own area set up here. Let me give them a capital. Now they have their own capital. Yippee! The Reds, or the Bahala, will react to this with not the greatest relations. They kind of wanted this area, and now there's a nation in the middle of it. And so they'll expand into the rest of this area as much as they can. And the Blues will get this. I'm gonna fix those borders real quick since they look absolutely garbage. Eventually, they have this will be the borders that were set up. And so the aggression between these two will be high. But the people in here will not support a war against these people since they are technically the same people but just wish to establish their own nation, which is respectable. They don't care though, and they're gonna, you know, maybe sometime later not exposing anything they might do, but you know, I don't know, maybe just a bit of a explosions, just a bit explosions around here, maybe they have that, maybe they don't. I know you say, tell me. Anyways, this colony will start to expand more around this coast, while also pushing up north to more of the Indian, more of up, just north, just push north. While on here, tensions will rise even more as the Blues will expand more, cutting off this area from expanding. Over here, they will also expand. Uh, they'll also expand up here, gaining a lot of area of explored land and also claimed land at the same time. Yippee, they did it. They're doing good. These guys don't like that they're doing good, obviously. And eventually, the Reds will keep on following what they like to do, following coasts. And they really like this main area, though. I don't know, maybe they're just trying to surround them, maybe for an easier thing. I don't know. You tell me. You tell me what they're doing. I don't know. I'm just the person that's doing it. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, maybe I'm choosing that too much. You guys know probably at this point what they're gonna do. But anyways, the Reds will keep on heading up here, and eventually these guys will also have their own name. All right,
Hello.
they have their own
Where
name.
did you go?
This will raise all happiness in here, but it will not raise happiness. Wait, come on. By the way, these guys call themselves an empire because they they feel like it's a better morale booster. Like they feel like it's brings the people together. They do held democracy things. They do vote for like a king and stuff. The king has a lot of force though. It's like a constitutional monarchy, something like that. So it's not the most democracy, like such as the United States or like how Greek was back then. They are still a democracy, but also a monarchy, a constitutional monarchy, I should say. I mean, democracy. These guys are a full democracy, though, being very high on the democracy leaderboard.
It's me.
I mean, there's like two nations, so like I mean, they'd be number one, and then there's number two, which is you guys. And like, do you understand what I mean, though? So, event though, after a bit of tensions across these borders, and I don't know, maybe like I don't know, maybe a pew pew went off around here,
Prop
like
type.
arrows shoot over here, and then a
Yo,
slash
guys,
over
look.
here, and then
It's the
boom.
prop
You understand
type.
what I mean?
It's the prop type.
So now we're gonna have a war, and you know what this war is about. A war is going to be. I mean, there's only two nations, so what else would it be? So from where the border conflict was, there will be units pushing across this border. The people would not be are not surprised. They knew this was going to eventually happen. The government was very unhappy with what happened here, and these guys are being absolutely
I still have my
uh beat up. They're getting absolutely thrown to the floor. But not before anything else happens, and their capital's about to be sieged. But one thing's gonna happen, you know. We all know what's gonna happen next. A rebellion pops up in this colony area, telling the government we do not want to be a part of your very warfare wants, your territory wants.
See it now.
These guys are gonna be very pissed, and they're gonna send units up, military personnel,
Nice.
not before military from militia from this guy will push into here. Military over here will fall back, and more military from this guy will be able to hold off from the capital and even push away some of the military over here, pushing up here and around here. While that happens, though, these guys will be pushed off of territory and will be pushed in as well,
What?
but will be held back from entering this peninsula.
We're coming back onto this platform.
And they will push up around here, though,
My profile
but
look.
will be held back right here. Eventually, these guys will also be able to push them completely out of the north. Somehow. I don't know. They have plot armor or something. I don't know. You ask me? I don't know. Ask yourself. But the red can't help themselves hold themselves together anymore, and a line rebellion will pop up in this northern eastern area. They'll take a lot of this land and will team up with this already independent blue, the Bihanyak, Yinyak. I'm sorry, the Republic of Blue. The Republic of Blue. I'm gonna call them the Republic of Blue. We'll be assisting each other over here, and the Reds will also have to take military assets out of this area very quickly to make sure none of this area rebels away, because this is our main area, and we don't want the capital to get besieged, because that means the end of this war. They get independent, they also get independent. So, that's bad, really bad. Anyways, they'll push back in again, making all their land, and they'll reach with this, the Blue Republic. Eventually, this empire will start to not do so well anymore, as once again, another group will rebel. It was Oso. And a blue cyan area will pop up over here. So basically, this area will be completely breaking apart entirely. And eventually, even more areas will pop away. It's gonna be a lighter area. These guys are not claim territory from these guys. They're their own thing. They'll be marked by a white dot that they're not under this guy. They're under their own fruition. Anyways, these guys will push over here with combined help of these guys. We'll push up here again, as well as this one will push up with a darker color because I want to present they're not under these guys as well. And eventually, the Empire will surrender. They have nothing else to give, and they're basically over. And we'll basically do a semi-peace deal. Not really, I'm just going to make this borders pretty. Alright, we all have the peace deal ending here. Let me fix this dot real quick. And we'll have this peace deal. So, you don't remember the Cyans over here? Like, it was all over here. Basically, not everyone wanted to join this nation. How much they fought was very remarkable. And they didn't want to join this because, they wanted to be their own and independent area. These people will actually give a lot of land to these
They're
areas.
human.
And these two will have very friendly relations. These people get what they want. They got in the war. These people failed in doing things. And these people got their independence. And so that's a semi-peace deal. Anyways, I gotta give each of these guys a name and a government building, which is their capital. I don't know why I didn't just call it the capital. Alright. Each country now has a name. This is a different name from this one. It's gonna be hard to tell because of how close they are, but I tried my best to make sure it doesn't look like they connect.
What?
They each have their own capitals. This one has to be a different capital since they are,
Like flying. Everything.
yellow. And that's how I did it. Alright. Now, let's get to some more lore. these people immediately after getting independence will explore all this and eventually will claim all of Bataan. I believe that's their name. That's the name of this island. I don't remember entirely. Anyways, they'll explore more up this coast into more of this area and to eventually explore more of this area and more and more and more. They want some more land, so they'll expand around this coast, make it very far. They'll be a lot like acting like a Chile nation. I mean, the red team was the Bahala was, but not as much as this one. They'll make it around here and around
Why
here.
did you
making
activate
it
the
pretty
train?
far. And eventually, these two nations will
The
be
idiot
one of the
thing.
most
The
powerful
idiot thing.
nations.
Yeah,
These
this is called
ones,
the idiot
this guy,
thing.
this guy right here, this guy, this guy, this guy. This guy will, or the Bahayak, or the Blue Republic, I should say. They'll make it farther and farther in the mainland, seeing tribes, and the tribes will join them because, you know, I mean, you can't it's a good nation to be in, and you get their own opinion, and so they get a lot of land, and eventually they get a lot of help from these Indian nations to map out this area. And everyone, these guys, these guys, these guys, even these guys will come help explore a lot of the mainland India, even expanding around this coast, which you know, these guys will claim a lot of. These guys will claim a lot of this area. All the blue will claim a lot of this area.
Okay, I'm with you.
And then this green one will claim a lot of this area, actually, being less of a Chile copy. And that's how they split up this area. But a pretty interesting event will appear. People from these three will, all these guys actually, everyone here, will have a group set out to explore more. They're sick of being stuck in this Indian area, and they wish to be out. They wish to go all around. So many groups will explore into this area and head up this way. Let's watch how this guy goes. A group will head around this coast, following a lot of they go explore lands as they can, but really that's just up here. And so they'll make it around here and more around here into this area, dodging this mess, making it to this lake, then pushing up to this coast. They'll send more and more up this area. They might get up to here, but refuse to go this way. Some people hate that, so they go on their own. And the people will be already here. I'll mark that by a giant yellow dot. Eventually, more and more area will be mapped out Chinese in the Chinese area, pushing up the Chinese coast.
Meadows?
Eventually, though, they will stop as they hit this peninsula because they're tired after heading miles upon miles into this area. And a new nation, Purple Nation, will be set up in this Chinese peninsula area. But let's not forget these guys. They still exist here. And they will be a gold area.
Hey!
They'll set up pretty easily around here. And eventually we'll actually push against this coast.
He's gone.
But we must not forget this other one as well. We almost forgot about this one, didn't we? But we must not forget at all this explorer group. These people will head around this coast as well, pushing around harder desert terrains. But after a while, they get sick of the desert, and people want to head up. It's said that more colder areas are up here from some weird old guy that was right here. Weird guy that was like over here somewhere. So people want to head up here, but more majority want to head up here. So this will actually be a split up. People will head up here, pushing around more of this desert, while also getting to more suitable areas, while more of this area will be explored by the group that majority of the group over here. People will push up to here, making up to these lakes, while also a bit of them will head into Qatar and also heading up into this spiky peninsula here. The people will make it up to here and actually will settle up here. We'll have a pine green nation be appearing around this Caspian Sea. Well, these guys will push more deeper into the area over here. Some people will decide to stay behind, and two more nations will be made into this area. A blue, closest to the watercolor nation on this peninsula here, will, that's too close to another one. A pink nation will be made around this coast and around this lake. More people will start to head up into more of Anatolia. Eventually, we'll stop after exploring so much and will get tired and wish to stop. And a lot of people will agree, a majority will vote, and an nation will be formed around this area. It's going to be a cyan type thing, right? Does anything there exist? No, that's good. Will exist around here and will eventually just settle up their government. And this is the end of the major exploration part of this video. Wow, how much these guys have explored is a lot. New nations have been set up, and this video is getting up to 40 minutes now, so I'm gonna end it soon. But not now. We still have a couple more minutes of it.
Hello?
Here we go, the capitals. They haven't set up names yet because they're new. They haven't really set up a lot of the government they have made. So we'll see that later. But we will be having another conflict. It'll be these guys again. They just cannot stop warring with other nations, can they? And it'll be this nation. They want it back. So, after a voyage, they will eventually land on the island of Baton. People will actually support this because a lot of family was split up because a lot of this area, you know, this area came over to here and they want their family back, but they won't come back because it's the Red Nation and nobody really likes it. And eventually, people will eventually submit and I don't know, maybe like a lot of this. And we'll have the First Nation disappearing. And I did have major cities, by the way. I haven't shown them because there's like no major type cities. But this is a major city since it's, very important. And that will be the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed this. I enjoyed it very much. Though it was stressful, but it was really fun. And I will see you in the next video. See ya. Hope you enjoyed.